This video is sponsored by Blarney T. Hokestar's Fast Track Splash. It's delicious and nutritious. Hey everyone, Kuro the Artist here. So far, every series has introduced something new to the Omnitrix that shook up how fans see the watch, that often led to overwhelming and at times overbearing responses. In Classic, Dr. Animo and the Mutant Ray gave us fusions, which currently is still one of the most created and beloved things you'll find in the community. In Alien Force, Albedo gave us the idea to make alternative colors of Ben's aliens. Not nearly as cool as fusions, especially since it wasn't until Omniverse that Albedo's aliens got fully unique color palettes, but you'd be surprised. They're also everywhere and are also inescapable in the fandom. And while these technically started in Alien Force 2, Ultimate Alien solidified the idea of ultimate versions of the aliens. While the canon ones are few and unfavorable, the idea was enough to carry a lot of weight with the ideas and speculation it gives, and will even make a return here in Omniverse next season. But for now, we currently have the introduction of Subspecies. The concept is presented fairly simple in the episode to explain that there are two versions of Upchuck that Ben can use.
There are two distinct subspecies of Gourmand.
Until now, it was believed that his noticeably distinct appearances between the shows was just an art style change, but this episode instead proclaims that they are two entirely different transformations to begin with, and now Ben has access to both of them. There are the Perks, named after Classic Series character designer Tom Perkins, and the Mercs, named after the UAF character designer Glenn Murakami. Although they are exactly the same creature in every single way, aside from appearance, because there is just a slight genetic difference between them, they can count as two completely separate transformations. And I'm sure you can see where this is going. Discussion and discourse instantly rises, prompting debates such as, well, how genetically different does someone have to be for Ben to scan them? Can Ben become one of the X-Men, or any kind of fictional mutant? What about the CW Flash, as they treat the Speed Force connection as a physical genetic component? What about a vampire? No, not an alien that resembles a vampire, but like literally Count Dracula. Cryptids? Atlanteans? What if someone were to have their DNA altered after they were born, like Spider-Man or Danny Phantom? Then this brings up multiple extensions of that conversation, like do genders count? Or what about different races? All dominated by the main discourse, what even counts as a subspecies? According to study.com,
in some species, the classification is carried out to one more level. This is known as a subspecies. By definition, a subspecies is a group within a species that has become somewhat physically and genetically different from the rest of the group. However, they are still similar enough to interbreed with the rest of the species.
But of course that leads to another debate about how much our real-world science even matters in Ben 10, because that show will easily break its own rules, nonetheless real-life science's rules if it pleases. So what actually counts as an Omnitrix transformation? We already did a video on that topic for a 300,000 subscriber special, so if you haven't seen that, you should check that out. But given that this is the episode that brings up the whole subspecies thing to begin with, of course you're gonna hear a lot more of my extended, elaborate thoughts on this subject throughout the breakdown. And who better to have this discussion with than fellow Upchuck connoisseur, Mr. O.R.Ash. That's right, folks, you're getting back-to-back collab breakdowns this week. We're totally not just throwing this together because Ambion got delayed. Because yeah, if you've been following the updates lately, you'd know that the Ambion Season 2 episode was supposed to drop today, but instead, you're getting this. But while you wait, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Are you feeling under the weather? Needing an all-natural immunity boost to remedy your day? Try Hokestar's imported Fast Track Splash mineral water, sourced straight from the Xeno Springs of Jollibees itself. One sip and you'll feel better in a splash.
Wow, this is both delicious and nutritious.
On February 23rd, 2013, Jonathan Kellen returns this season to bring us the episode Tummy Trouble. Ben and Rook investigate a mysterious distress signal on Upchuck's home planet, Peptos 11. They learn that their queen has been captured by the incursions, and now Ben must lead a rescue mission while Rook holds down the fort on the planet.
I'm ready. Here we go.
I'm ready!
Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot this opens with Nancy Chan. Oh god.
Look at those kitties though. They're so cute.
I want the middle one that's head is upside down.
Oh, this one?
Yes, I like him.
Thanks to my meow meow militia,
So she's one of the rare characters that are voiced by a newcomer to the voice actor pool, Gwendolyn.
She plays Lady Shiva in Young Justice, Shinigami from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2003 series. Oh, she voices Mercy in the Batman animated series from 2003.
So she actually has the power to control cats, right? They got like the swirls in her eyes. I'm pretty sure she's a mutant or something. So now that mutants are Osmosians or something, would that make her an Osmosian?
Is it that they're Osmosian, or that they are someone an Osmosian has changed in some way via like a transfer of energy?
She was part of the Rooters, but Cervantes didn't ask for her back. Kevin purposely didn't restore Ben's memory of her. She was in all those scenes. She's just been deleted from the memory.
Oh my gosh. Wait, this is her premiere episode too, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is implying that she already like captured them and everything. She's already done more than like most of the villains in the show.
Look, I remember loving this episode because Upchuckness. I didn't know this was the introduction of her though. Damn it.
Yeah, glad you're here, buddy.
Which one is she again? The woman who controls cats.
Yeah, she just controls cats.
I find her strangely compelling.
It's 'cause he's a cat.
Okay.
Okay, so they were just waiting it out.
They wanted to see what her whole
Yeah.
deal was and if she was going to be entertaining.
You aren't holding me. I was staying to see how I could help.
Because you have been a bad kitty.
Rare.
That sounds so weird for Rook.
Yeah, what did she say? Cry havoc and let slip the cats of war.
It's a fucking Julius Caesar reference.
How poetic.
Expected from Yancey.
And she's just got a bunch of tigers.
The lady or the tigers?
That's another reference to something. Lady or the Tiger. It was a short story by Frank Stocklin or Stockton. Almost had it.
Totally missable references of things I've never heard of.
I do like the way the tigers are drawn though, with like the big jaw.
They look like the tiger bad guy from Jungle Book.
Oh yeah.
Not Bagheera.
Oh yeah. I can't help but feel that's intentional. We've been jam-packed with references.
I do not want to arrest you.
Rook, no! Her Riz was too strong. Bloop, love him. There he is. There he is.
So good. I love him.
This is the first time we've seen Upchuck in Omniverse, period.
His Omniverse design. Not my favorite. With the perk, he looks like he's supposed to be an amoeba. With the merc, he looks like he's supposed to be a lizard. And I know I make the joke all the time that he's a gastro gummy bear. This looks like he's supposed to be a teddy bear of some kind. I'm not totally sure what the texture he's supposed to be is.
I agree. In fact, it seems to go against a lot of Omniverse's standard rules of design. They're big fans of uniform. He already had a uniform, so they took away his uniform. That's like the opposite of what OV does. And also, I don't like how the tail is the same texture as his darker coat of skin, whereas in OS it was the lighter shade.
Maybe we're all being fooled and the darker green is actually meant to be a suit the entire way up.
Oh yeah, it's like a mask. Future Rob, you just adjusted your gain down by -7 decibels. Please adjust it in Premiere.
Future Rob, hi.
Just my big eater.
So Upchuck is now voiced by Eric Bauza in Omniverse. This is his third voice actor after David Wittenberg in D. So we've heard 3 versions of Upchuck. Which one are you privy to?
His original series voice sounds super unique.
Yeah, it's like a low, like growly sort of like roar to it. Like,
I got Upchuck power. What's this thing supposed to do? I've got Upchuck power.
His alien force is just that kind of like that lower tone, kind of gravelly that we hear from a lot of aliens in general.
Everybody, hit it together. 1, 2, 3.
I really admire what Omniverse did with it though. I like the kind of like back, like curled
It's
up
like
tongue back
jowly.
to the throat. Yeah.
When I'm Upchuck, I eat punks like those for breakfast.
It makes a lot of sense. If this was his first voice, I don't think I'd have a problem with it, but I do think David Wittenberg, I like his portrayal a lot more.
This version sounds kind of like Droopy Dog to me, is what it is.
Oh yeah.
That kind of thing where he sounds like this.
You know what? That's not sanitary.
I forgot how it looked. Oh my
Yeah.
god, those are still alive.
And that's what I don't like, because like the original series was the lightest on actually explaining abilities, but like, you know, the info cards and stuff, they said like Upchuck has like 4 stomachs and his digestion works differently, so he can't have organic food. So it seemed like there were good power caps on his abilities.
Oh, great. I'm a bottomless pit, and I can't digest the good stuff.
But also, it's interesting that 4 tongues, 4 stomachs. Then Alien Force was just like, he could eat anything he wants, so it widens his abilities. Now he can eat anything he wants and spit it back out, and it'll still be alive, because he's got a pocket dimension inside of him.
So what if it's like with the perk, they do have 4 stomachs with 4 tongues, and they can't eat organic matter, but then with the merc, they only have 1 stomach and can eat organic matter.
I'd be okay with that. But it's the whole they all share a pocket dimension stomach thing. Those tigers aren't digested. It's just, I don't like it. I don't like it, bottom line. But whatever.
See, he can't have organic. He puked him up.
And how can they even force themselves out? Like, if they all share a pocket dimension, how can he control what he projects outwards? And, like, can he eat one thing and another upchuck spit it out? It's, I don't know. It was just what...
There's too many layers. There's too many layers.
There's too many layers. I just don't like it. Like, keep it simple. He eats stuff and spits it out.
You'll help me escape.
I am not nearly as hypnotized as that.
I like how he was going with the hypnotism for the first little bit, and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Right.
I'm chill.
Fiddlesticks!
Kellen?
Oh my god, that totally went over my head.
I always forget her name. She's a background character, but I know she has a name.
Molly Gunther.
Keep moving.
Oh, that's the first time Molly talked.
Oh.
Yeah, voiced by Tara Strong. Bye.
Something's wrong, as if millions of stomachs suddenly cried out in hunger.
That's another reference from Star Wars.
I felt a great disturbance in the force, as millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror.
There's so many more references.
Road trip.
We're getting the road trip.
It gets right in its face.
Ben 10!
Wait, see, hey. Wait, real quick. Upchuck had a suit right there.
Oh yeah, that's his 11-year-old
See,
suit.
he has a suit. Oh, you didn't do a thing.
Oh shit.
Do I have to come up with one because I'm a guest?
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Oh, I'm trying to think now. Damn it. This is so on the spot. It's so much more difficult than I thought.
Oh yeah. Welcome to hell, buddy.
Check out and beyond, and we'll be at MomoCon Ben 10.
This is what it looks like when you're driving through the snow.
Homeworld of the Upchucks. Pepto's 11.
Peptos 11, another reference. Ding. So it's funny because, like, everybody usually jokes when they hear numbered planets, like, oh, does that mean there was 10 others beforehand? And in this episode, it's like, yeah, there really was.
The only other instance we see of that in Ben 10, I think, is Encephalonus.
Damn, I've never heard that said out loud. I keep saying Ephesians in my head, but that's like a book of the Bible. Encephalonus 4:12, thou shalt not eat crab cake.
Without soy sauce.
Without the soy sauce!
There are two distinct subspecies of gourmand.
So, before we get into that discussion, I remember this was done because, I don't know if it was Derek specifically, but really liked both versions of Upchuck and wanted to keep them in the show. So they wrote this whole thing just to be able to do that.
Honestly, I do think Omniverse as a whole is my favorite because they do stuff like this. They try to pay homage and connect together little weird details and stuff, and they do so in such fun ways sometimes. This honestly was one of the inspirations behind And Beyond, getting to see a planet and then explaining like why exactly they are different and how it works and everything.
I agree with the fact that I enjoy that aspect about Ben 10. The Gourmand lore specifically, I'm not as huge of a fan of, but because...
Oh yeah, no, it's not great.
But because of the depth they go into and like the way they're presenting this information, it makes you interested. I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm still just like, this is awesome. Because like, how often do we actually do this? And like, we've been to a few homeworlds by now, but we've never like explored their culture and their biology to this degree.
The Mercs and the Perks. Gourmands share a swarm gastronomy. All gourmand stomachs linked to a transspatial bladder dimension.
That's what I don't care for.
Wait, they said bladder?
All gourmand stomachs linked to a transspatial bladder dimension.
Yeah.
It's a decent idea, but the execution of it is a little weird with how Upchuck does work generally.
I just don't think it's a good idea at all. I'm sorry. I just think this is just too much. I like the fact that like they would eat stuff and it's just they got stomachs and they boil it inside and turn it into this plasma they shoot. I don't like that he can eat something and it not be harmed by his digestive acids like the tigers, and I don't like that they all share a pocket dimension stomach or whatever. So this episode also opens up a whole wide range of possibilities. Is the fact that the Omnitrix can scan subspecies and obtain it as two separate transformations. Some people absolutely love that and others despise it. I feel like I can go either way. I wholeheartedly believe that opens up the canon possibility that Ben can become a lot of things most folks probably wouldn't enjoy. Like, this proves it, because if a person's DNA is slightly different enough to be considered another transformation entirely, then things very similar to humans but technically aren't human on a genetic level are now viable transformations. It's such a weird thing. Like, how small of a percentage change does it have to be? Because these Upchucks are literally exact exactly the same, aside from their appearance, and they count as two separate transformations.
People in the community, when they've made subspecies for aliens and stuff like that, sometimes with the amount of changes, or even if you're looking at the upchucks here, like, would this really be a subspecies thing, or is this more of just it is different races of the same species? People have said Kolar, because he's blue, he's a mutant or a subspecies of a Tetraman. He could just be a different race of Tetraman. In Avatar: The Way of the Water, the newer one, they have like oceanic islander Na'vi, which is different from the forest dwelling ones, but they are still both considered just Na'vi.
So those two are probably two different transformations, but then all of a sudden it's like, okay, so Ben could become an X-Man. No, because X-Men are mutants, but then there's the whole X-gene thing. Or like, oh, can Ben become someone born with like a very unique genetic change to their body? People want to say no because it sort of ruins the Omnitrix. But yes, you can. This episode says you can, and it's so dumb.
The Omnitrix can turn you into literally anything, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
I just feel like whenever it comes to the community arguments and discussion, when it comes to what is a subspecies versus what is a race versus what is a mutant and da-da-da-da-da-da, they should have clarified that slightly more. But also I know with Omniverse, they do things just for the sake of the idea of it and didn't feel the need to over-explain or go into specifics of it. In the fan base, when people call things subspecies when technically they're not, it's fine. It's just the Ben 10 term of subspecies.
Like how Ben 10 uses the words dimension and universes interchangeably, even though they're two technically different things.
Same thing with timelines.
Yeah, they definitely didn't think about how seriously people are going to take this. And to be fair, I don't know if anybody could have predicted that people would care like on such a strong level. And if you take writer statements into account, Ben can scan mutants if he turns off that specific setting. Ben can change genders.
Baseline of it is that this is just a bunch of sci-fi jargon bullshit for fun. Like, it doesn't need to make sense. I like the science explanations, but it doesn't need to be a required thing.
No, I completely agree. It exists in a show where sometimes the continuity cares so much about the scientific explanations of stuff. I'd even argue that Omniverse does it every now and then, where they'll be like, we have to explain this fine. But then other times, they'll just do some dumb shit like, oh, all the upchucks share a stomach. And it's kind of hard to navigate how much you should care, because sometimes the show is just like, yes, please care. This is cool. And other times it's just like, oh, it's just an alien cartoon. Why do you care? You should just not care. But like, we're constantly ping-ponging back and forth. It's like, so should I care or shouldn't I care? You know, it's easier to just not care about anything. But then again, that walls off an entire realm of investment in the show. Like, part of the fun of Ben 10 is caring about that stuff.
What was that?
I feel like they're always hitting asteroids, like when they're in space. It's like the go-to obstacle.
Ben, you can see.
Yeah, with a perfectly clear screen.
What was that?
As he stares directly at it.
We have only a few suspects to consider. Vilgax, Agrigor.
He puts Vilgax right at the top and no one's seen him since the Dagon thing. What about this makes you think it's Vilgax, Rook?
Because he likes destroying planets, I guess.
We've never actually seen him do it, though.
Agrigor never destroyed a planet.
This is not Vilgax or Agrigor, clearly.
This is Lieutenant Rana of the celebrated Calaveras Legion.
I forgot incursions are in this episode.
Yeah, me too. Frog! Oh shit, Frog.
Dude, Upchuck and incursions in the same episode. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
The celebrated whatever region is also another reference. The celebrated jumping frog of the Calaveras County is a 1865 short by Mark Twain.
Could be the incursions. What are they doing here?
Oh, right, because this is the Frogs of War season, right? So this is the kickoff to the whole arc.
Jet Ray's got it covered.
Jet Ray too. Look at that.
God, that makes me so sad that we didn't get him.
Dude, Big Chill is so OP. He could be doing shit like that all the time. Man, he was timing out as he was phasing in. Imagine if he was a second too late. He's like stuck in the chair.
Random background artwork they would have with the action figures and stuff. This looks straight out of that, but with a little bit of the Omniverse texturing, and I love it so much.
The little pus packets and stuff, it looks great.
We did it, buddy! I may not fully understand the pronoun we.
Get woke, Rook.
Upchuck's stomach was warning us of a full-scale invasion.
So does the stomach have like sentience or like some type of natural, like when people are fear, their like hairs will stand up or something? Is this like a reaction to all the Upchucks being afraid and he felt it?
You could say that it's a gut reaction.
Shut the fuck up. So this is what the mercs look like in Omniverse.
This version does look like a lizard.
I like how the biggest difference between them is if they have an underbite or overbite too. The mercs have the underbite. Whoa, but the merc has multiple tongues?
That's not correct. Unless it doesn't matter, it's just based off an individual then.
Yeah.
Get spooned, motherfucker.
They seem to be handling themselves well.
This is literally the beginning of the Frogs of War. And I'm wearing the shirt.
Do I have anything froggy? Oh, you know what I got? Yeah.
Oh my god, I know what you have. It's the one frog I don't like. God damn it.
Ding, ding.
Run, buddy! Oh. You know something? They do a lot of frog influence with the Galvins too. So we got the Galvins, Incursions, and ever so slightly the Gormans. All the frogs.
Maybe that's why I like Ben 10 so much.
Yeah, Frog City, baby. It's Echo Echo! That was cool how he left a clone behind as the other two kept running. Hey! Look how small he is. He's like Galvin-sized right now.
You just returned me to the perk! I'm a merc! What are you, crazy?
Yeah, all the upchucks are racist, by the way. Private Brown Bag, voiced by Tara Strong. Oh, okay. I can hear it now. Yeah.
You just returned me to the perk!
Okay, yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it. Those are spoons, Ben. You're fine. Now, I do like how they do have a bunch of different designs for both the perks and the mercs, and I think that looks great, but sometimes they just do repeat them over and over again. There's even a little bit of layering errors, so I love giving OV its credit due, but I mean, people shit on UAF for doing this, so I'm just saying, OV does it too.
What are you, consorting with the enemy?
Wait, I know that voice. Who is that?
You know it.
That sounds so familiar.
Know it.
Oh, Kevin Michael Richardson?
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes! Okay, I recognized it because that same voice he just did, he uses as the Joker in the Batman 2003 series.
What rational being dresses like you? Well, maybe I am a little off.
This is nice because it kind of looks like the inner layers of a cake.
You perks think too much, Cookmeister.
I love this one, like with the jowls. This is a great design.
I love little at the end.
Yeah. I like how they did anime mouths for these characters, but everyone else is just kind of standing around.
Queen Rumbletongue was captured by an cruising raid.
Gotta execute plan Omega.
I just noticed his badge is a cookie.
Yeah, the little cookie. That's kind of cute.
Way too much at stake. Yay.
Wait, so that implies, do they have cows on their planet?
Cows, cookies. A lot of this is like almost too much based on like Earth culinary arts. Like I get like a lot of the jokes wouldn't work if they weren't familiar Earth stuff. Like the spoons are only funny because it's spoons, but I would have liked to see a little bit more alien cuisine thrown in there.
Plan Omega?
Only the queen can order it.
Order!
So when the queen is captured, or if she died, they don't elect a new or temporary leader. They just can't do shit.
Well, based off of the fact of the queen's design that we'll see in a little bit, she looks different than the rest of the Gorman too, which that could just be it's an individual of the species, but it could also be in a sense of I know Gormans aren't insects, but how like ant colonies and beehives and stuff have their queen that is like the one birther of all the rest of them. These guys even act in swarm. They have a swarm gastronomy, and then they will tear apart their colony planet to build a new one later.
What happens when Ant Queen dies? The colony dies.
Yes.
They just die. Okay.
Almost quite literally, the rest of them just don't have brains to be able to do anything. They have to get their orders from the queen.
So what if a new queen was born?
It would have to be birthed from Rumbletongue, because it's the queen gives birth to a queen. Actually, that could be a thing too. The fact of like, if Gormans acted the same way as an insect colony with a queen and everything, they would be all birthed from Rumbletongue, which explains why they all look so almost exactly identical.
So she's giving birth to two different species, or like a subspecies of each other?
It could be like there's worker ants and then there's like sergeant ants that have wings and stuff.
And they're all born from the queen?
I believe so. Let me double check that real quick.
While you double check that, I gotta pee real quick.
Hey everybody, here's the part where we talk about Gremlins 2. Y'all love that bit, right? Rob hates it every time. Gremlins 2 is really the best one because of the dark comedy.
I'm back. Oh fuck, I just spilled seltzer all over my phone.
You fool, dry it.
Oh no, crazy frog, get out the fucking way.
He's bouncing around the screen.
Bing, bing, bing,
bing, bing. What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? I gotta take the case off. Oh shit, I just broke my phone case. Cascading misery.
That'd be the title of your album. Queen ants give birth to male and female. Male ones become known as drones, which exist purely to mate, whereas the female ones become workers. So this could be a similar thing where Queen Rumbletum gives birth to the two species, and until a new queen is born, they all protect her. If that's how it goes. We don't know if Rumbletum births all.
So in terms of the Omnitrix then, it's only capable of scanning lower intellect species. It can scan multiple ants as different transformations.
I'm not sure about that. This is the thing about breaking it up between genders, races, and species. At least with ants, purely off of the gender, they don't really have much of physical differences, it seems.
Like some ants are born with wings and some aren't born with wings, right? Or is it like an entirely different set of ants are winged? Welcome to Ant Facts with Kuro and Ash.
Ant Facts.
Ants.
Did you know that the Ants movie was not a ripoff of Bug's Life?
Did you know that the ant bully failing is what caused Jimmy Neutron to be canceled?
So it seems as though the winged ants are the female ones. So I guess, yeah.
So there can't be a male ant with wings?
And if there can, I don't have the capability to research that deep right now because we're in the middle of recording.
Look what you've done to us, Gormans.
It's funny because I actually found a source that says the opposite, but at this point, this conversation is getting like way too ant-focused.
This is one of the only times we see Ben use Merc Gormand. He almost exclusively uses perk. They played favorites towards the perk.
Hey, quiet down! Yeah, quiet!
When you walk on stage and then transform, that gives away the fact that you were playing him.
They weren't even listening to him when he was in the crowd.
Look at him. He's like, I did so much. I saved the day.
Hey, Ben Tennyson.
Here we go. It is simple. It's simple all over again.
I'm leading a mission to get the Queen back. We're not going to execute Plan Omega, and we attack the enemy direct.
You could do both. These both sound like great plans.
They took the Upchuck's queen.
Yeah! I do love this shot.
I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but like, I mean, you could do both. You can do both.
Just do the plan and then have a few of them break off to save the queen while you're attacking the rest.
Like, why are they getting mad? Like, everybody has to do what? This is what happens without the queen.
War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
Say it again.
Say it again.
My mind is made up. So is mine. Hey, good luck, man. To you as well.
I like that, though, because maybe they realize that at least the Upchucks won't be able to handle doing both plans because they're stubborn, but Ben and Rook, like, pretended to... Because they were very flashy about their disagreements, so they were doing that to, like, low-key try to get them both to work together, and this is them, like, acknowledging it.
Earlier in Season 1, where Rook basically tells Ben to fuck off and then throws his badge out the window. It's like a plan they didn't discuss. They kind of just did it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing because, like, they, like you said, we have seen them do this exact plan before. Fake a fight in order to meet the same goal. So this is some good stuff. They're playing 4D chess. Wrath! Is this the first time we see Atea in Omniverse?
Maybe.
I'm just so used to seeing her because of like editing videos and stuff. Yeah, this is Atea's first appearance in Omniverse.
This has to be my favorite episode.
I like her design a lot, and I like the fact that both versions of her were designed by Derek. Like, a lot of the times Omniverse designs feel like redesigns, whereas here it feels like a natural evolution of her original design. Like, this feels very much in line, and it's strengthened by the fact that Derek did both versions.
Right here, Princess Atea.
And he's back.
Who voices Raph in this version?
Oh,
Forgive me. That sounds...
Forgive me. It's Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh, Princess Atea, forgive me.
He's Eric Bauza in Omniverse. He's James Arnold Taylor in Alien Force.
7-7 snatched a little girl in the system, and I really need to find her.
This is Commander Raph. Is everything all right there?
That's okay, because I remember his voice being extremely different in Alien Force.
They use a different filter for him here, too.
Forgive me, General Atea.
He's also another character that was originally designed by Derek, so they just reused the exact design, almost one for one. Like, you can tell they emphasize the Omniverse line work more, but as for even, like, the minute details, he looks exactly the same.
Wait, run that back one more time. I want to hear the titles again.
Forgive me, General Atea. Princess, Scion, and Teen Supreme of the Deathless Incursion Empire. Highest commander of the celebrated Calaveras Legion.
Imagine putting that on a name tag. I also think that's the first time we've ever heard them finish one of those super long ones, because, like, the joke was they'd always get cut off, but this is the first time we're actually, like, hearing the whole thing.
Far be it for me to correct you, highest commander.
Layout around here is just, like, an Omniverse reskinned version of the UAF. It smartly uses a lot of already designed elements. They're like, this shows that they don't always have to change everything. Sometimes they're just like, yeah, if it's good, we'll just keep doing it.
The Gourmand army is more resilient than expected.
Get the queen!
Well, hello!
She is neither perk nor merc.
No, she is her own being entirely.
She don't need no gourmand.
Voiced by April Winchell, by the way.
I think the fact that she's neither perk nor merc does support the theory of it being like an insect colony of ants, where it is she is her own thing, she is a queen, and gives birth to both. Especially because both follow her and are trying to save her.
Can she give birth to her own species, though? Because if she dies,
yes,
and it seems
that's how females, they all have a chance of becoming a queen, but it's just a really low chance.
Like, so she doesn't control it, so she could just randomly give birth to another one of herself, and then, or like, is it like if she knows she's gonna die, she has the intuition to alter her biology to give birth to a queen?
I mean, I could see them doing that, like in this, because of like narrative context and stuff, and it being sentient characters. When it comes to actual ants, I'm pretty sure it is just completely random, and I don't know if it's when they're about to die or if it's they just kill the previous queen.
So I looked it up, and it's actually a little less random than what we initially thought when recording this. But, you know, we're not trying to be, like, scientific experts on anything that we say in breakdowns. We're just, like, bullshitting. But yeah, hope you guys are enjoying all these ant facts.
Well, what if 2 queens are born?
Well, if there's 2 queens in general, they will kill one of them.
Oh.
I don't know if... Well, that's why I'm looking up right now. What happens when a new queen is born?
What happens to queen ants born same time? Oh, some ant species can have multiple queens within a single colony. This is known as polygamy and is relatively common in the ant species. Wow. Very progressive. And it increases their reproductive capacity and resilience. So that's okay. So if there's multiple queens, they'll just work together and be like, yeah.
Well, there's a flip side. It's like a 50-50 that they will either adopt a new queen or they'll just kill it.
Okay, I don't want to spend forever just like double checking all the research and facts about these ants, but like it seems like a lot of ant facts are true about bees, and they both operate in colonies, so it makes sense. Maybe we should have used bees as a surrogate avenue of knowledge, but at least in terms of ants, in like the amount of effort I want to put into the research, some of this stuff is like very shaky on the validity. But you know, if you really want to know, just go look it up. You know, dozens of information and articles and videos about ants out there.
Also, something I just realized too, this canonizes that Gourmand don't wear clothes.
Yep, which is fine, but it's weird if Raph doesn't, I guess. But yeah, she definitely looks like a combination of both species. She's got the spots of the merc, but the colors of the perk. And she doesn't seem to have an under or overbite, just a very large chin. I like that she's got a little mole too.
You're gonna sign this planet over to me, boss bag.
What if she just pulled a Vilgax and wanted to do a Conqueror's Challenge? All you have to do is challenge one warrior, and if you win, you get the planet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like Atea, just challenge any one of them and kick their ass. You could do it.
What is stopping Rumbletum from just eating Atea right now?
Oh, true! Send her to the fucking Shadow Realm. That was cool, the little lightning bolt that strikes the door before it opens. Maybe it was like magnetically sealed and they needed to release the magnets in order to open it. That could be what all the circuitry on the walls was for, to represent that. Oh, there he is again. It's very rare you see Ben use the same alien twice.
Now that's cold-blooded.
Wait, did Ben just kill this man?
Oh yeah, Ben doesn't give a fuck. He came back just to make sure. He was like, I know I ain't heard you breathing.
Ben, that's pretty cold-hearted, man.
What was that?
Guard Station 19, report!
Great here. Ribbit.
I don't know why that made me laugh. It's like, yeah, it sounds the same.
He did say ribbit.
Well, just ribbit. Last time I was on an incursion ship, the holding cell was this way.
I like that. He's remembering the other times he was there and mapping it out. Now wear their outfits.
Stay frosty, mercs.
No, you can't do a name-branded food like that. You can't get a Frosty.
The Gourmand Wendy's.
She's in stasis.
What happened?
We'll get you out of here.
Atea?
Uh-huh.
I always forget he has Spider Monkey now. I do like all the monkey sound effects though. But all these different poses, these look like actual like purposeful forms and stances. Especially with the way that he fights with Kick and Hawk too. He probably trains with his aliens using their specific styles of fighting. And like, I like to think this is like an actual Arachnosimia martial art, and this is like a stance from it. Like if he did time out right there, he probably could have done a little better. Throw some webs in there.
Why didn't you do this earlier?
Right?
Also, Atea, why'd you throw your gun away if you're getting eaten?
Big mistake.
Oh, I heard you talking about me. Yeah.
We hold the line.
Oh, what? I forgot about this one.
I didn't remember it at all.
That's sick.
Captain Ravana Gander.
Brolin,
Those things are awesome.
What did Rook just say?
I think he said his parents' names. Rook Brala and Rook Da.
Brala Da.
Yeah, like Rook Brala and Rook Da. Those are his parents.
So he just said mother, father?
Yep.
Oh, god damn it. This must be him saying motherfucker. God damn you.
That's clever as hell. But yeah, these things are freaking awesome.
Wait, so now they can't breathe in space?
A lot of characters get like masks for like one scene and they're so cool. Like Kyber's mask, I feel like we've only seen it once and it's so cool.
How did she survive re-entry?
Frog power. Rook ends racism.
Oh man.
It's a good thing that his shoes are magnetized to the ship. That was a good one. Oh yeah, and his mask too. I was actually trying to think, I was like, aside from Kyber, who else has a cool mask that doesn't show up a lot? Water Hazard. Are these past planets?
I guess so. I don't think that we see them fully finish off the planet before they leave. Maybe they just eat enough to have enough fuel to rocket themselves to the next planet.
Planet Omega's our only chance! Planet Omega's gonna do the work for them.
They haven't said what Planet Omega is yet, right? Isn't that just eat the planet?
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, that does create opposing sides, because one plan is save the queen and fight. The other plan is run away, essentially.
I mean, they can still, like, move the planet anyways and save the queen. Because that is what they end up doing. So it's like, yeah, let's go save the queen and then get the fuck out of here.
We will judge of that.
Your Majesty. Majesty.
He barely got that out. He was like,
Your Majesty.
Sergeant Cast Iron, thank you. Rescue.
Of course, you're right.
She didn't think the other one, though. Does that mean that the mercs were right and there was a right answer?
The perks didn't help. They were just fighting frogs on the surface.
That's true. They didn't even win.
It's moving day.
What? Okay, they should have no problems. How did their queen get captured if it only takes 3 of them to do this?
Yeah, that's...
Look at that.
Sci-fi bullshit fun is what this episode is.
This
and
is
I'm fine with that.
Incompetence. You let your queen get captured when you can move gigantic ships with your tongues?
Well, look, how we were talking about ant colonies, how ants will literally just be dumb and die without queen orders. Their queen just gave an order, so they can fully do what they're capable of now.
But they couldn't protect the queen before she got captured in the first place? That's wild. That looks good, though.
They're eating the planet.
Yeah, so I guess these are all the other planets that they've left beforehand, and they don't eat the entire planet. They clearly don't move that far, though, so I'm wondering what the advantage of doing this even does. Like, they're right there.
Honestly, it might just be a cultural thing. Plus the fact they don't have ships or technology, they have to propel themselves via burping, so they probably can't propel super far.
I guess I just don't see how this does anything.
To be fair, there's a lot of stuff in nature that's kind of like that.
These fucking ants. They're ants to me now. Gormans are ants in my head.
No, they're gastro gummy bears. I love them.
Ants.
Our troops.
But who's with the...
I feel you, Ben.
I was gonna say that's you during this episode.
This is me. It's just so...
Many species develop such defense mechanisms.
Yeah, but they're just moving within eyesight. Like, what is this gonna do? They're right fucking there.
They said it's a defense. They never said as to why.
There's gotta be something, because, like, it's not even like they're moving that far.
I do like that he joins in.
And dives right in. Do you hear that?
Sound effect, yeah.
You can see that they have to add, like, a colored layer feathered in there so that it goes on top of the texture. Whoa, look at him go!
I love it. I honestly love this.
Yeah, it's something.
All hail Lord Emperor Million, light of the Incursion Empire, destroyer of entire galaxies, all living creatures tremble in your...
Yeah, see, they never finish his. I like the weapons they have here.
You were wise, daughter of mine.
Many places do not even get to knuckle under.
Is this supposed to be his explosive device? His little cube thing?
I don't think so. I think it's just a hologram.
That's the start of the incursion arc.
It's honestly very fun. I think it's a very good episode.
I don't know how I feel about it. It's got Nancy and...
It's the type of Omniverse episode I do like because it creates a lot of discussion. We have spent almost 2 hours talking about ants because of this episode.
I agree. There's a lot of world building stuff and discussion that I like that this episode prompts, but in terms of the episode itself, like in terms of like the plot, I don't think it's that great. The Upchucks just seem so incompetent with what they're able to do. Rook and the other Upchucks don't do anything. They just stay behind and they regret it. And it's not until Ben comes back with the queen are they able to turn the battle into their favor. So it turns out there was a right thing to do.
Well, again, it's like with ants. They can't do anything without their queen's command because they go all dummy and will just eventually die because they're not getting command.
Right, but we're also projecting that assumption. Like, that implies, like, you're supposed to know that. Like, if you don't know that, and we didn't know that until we started looking up shit about ants.
Well, look, overall, because I know you're going to do a rating. My Ash rating of this episode, 18, maybe 19, because I do like the episode. There are problems,
well,
like you said.
Hold on. We can't just assign a general number. We got to go by category. So what do you think of the plot?
Plot, maybe a 2. Only because I like the fact that it starts the kickoff of the Frogs of War.
Well, that's more of an importance rating than it. See, that's a good point. This is the tricky part. You got to be intricate. Okay. So the plot itself, how the story was conceptualized, I agree. The plot is a 2.
What's the next thing? I always forget your categories.
Characterization.
I'd say a 5. Ben and Rook are very good in this episode as themselves and indirectly working together to bring them together. Plus, return of Atea, and she does seem like a much more matured character.
I'm going to maximize my screen because I might as well just do the ratings right now with you.
Oh, okay.
This is the first time I've ever tried to do the ratings like with somebody here. I usually just record it on my own. The more I think about it, I think I want to give the plot a 3 because there's not too much I find wrong with it, but there's also not too much I can really give it either. It's like the queen gets captured and then they go rescue her and that's the story.
Again, because of the similar plot to Simple, it's a very simple plot.
So I just want to be clear, like I agree with the fact that it's a 2, not just because of my own bias against the episode. I just really think there's nothing here. Characterization, I want to give a 4. I agree, Ben and Rook were fantastic. Like they were evolved. I like Atea too, but a lot of the episode is built on characters that don't have too much to stand on their own. I appreciate that they gave the characters their own names and designs, but they all just kind of acted exactly the same. So the uniqueness stops past their introduction and they do take up a lot of time. Same with the incursions. Like I feel like the incursions are just obstacles to overcome rather than characters. So I feel like because there's so many Gormans and incursions that are just kind of nothing, it does dull out the overall characterization. Whereas the actual characters, Ben, Rook, and Atea, I think were done very well.
There was a lot of characters on screen being like kind of filler, just whatever.
Visuals I'm a little conflicted on because I love the fact that we saw Peptos and it does have a great design, but when you compare it to like Koros or Galvin, it doesn't have too much of the visual distinction. And then a lot of this episode also just takes place on the incursion ship, which is just hallways.
That's true.
I feel like the fact that we're exploring a different planet makes me want to give it more because I love doing that, but the actual like visual artwork and what we see, it's not as great as some of the stuff we've gotten and will get.
It is very simplistic, especially for the sense of like, it doesn't seem like the Gormans have a big old developed society and stuff, mainly because they jump planets just whenever they fucking feel like it. There's no cultural visuals.
Yeah, logically it makes sense that it's not super detailed, but then again, like if it makes sense for a character to wear a white shirt, that doesn't mean the white shirt looks good. Importance.
It starts the Frogs of War.
It does, but like there's a couple of episodes that just kind of end with the fact that we're doing the Frogs of War this season, and I'm just wondering how necessary this is. Like for example, like almost every episode of Alien Force seasons 1 and 2 play into the hybrid war. Like there's this little key that plays into the hybrid arc, but does that really mean that that one thing can make the entire episode of 5? Or can you do without it? This is one of the ones where I feel like it just kind of lets you know the incursions are here, but then again, so does While You Were Away.
This also does reintroduce Atea in Omniverse.
Right. But so could While You're Away.
That's a good point. I would say importance maybe like a 2, only because again, it does have the tie, but it's not necessary to it.
I agree, if not also for the fact that this does bring up the whole subspecies thing. I think that makes this pretty relevant. So while I don't want to give it a straight 5 because it starts the Frogs of War, I feel like because of the impact the subspecies has on the Ben 10 fandom, it does make it more important. So I would even be generous enough to give it a 3 in importance.
I could agree with that. I always forget with importance you take into account like stuff outside of the overarching story importance. This created a whole subgenre of fan art and stuff in the fandom to this day.
Right. This is pretty rooted in the Ben 10 experience. So it's like, this is where that comes from, is from this episode. Entertaining, I'll give it a 3. Because like we both got completely different experiences out of it. So I feel like that just creates a balance. Like some people probably really fuck with this episode. Others might not. But it's not a bad episode. It's just like, it's a very specific kind of episode. And you like it or you don't.
I really like it. I do like it a lot. I could agree with that.
That's not bad. So I do got some final thoughts here. A standard, just random stuff that I noticed while I was editing. When Rook cuts himself free, he pulls out like this little knife out of one of the black rectangles of the proto tool. This is an interesting part of his proto tool. I like that he has little potentially other things that he can just slide out. The Queen's voice was also modeled after Julia Child, a world-renowned chef.
Julia Child presents the Chicken Sisters. Oh, I won't do anything like that.
Well, hello! Unhand my royal person!
Also, Big Chill does this, like, controlled levitation thing with this incursion. You can see he shoots out his ice to freeze the incursion, but then lifts it into the air, pushes it forward slightly, and then drops it down in the next scene. The physics of this are pretty strange, but now it seems like Big Chill can levitate certain people and objects as long as they maintain a connection to his icy breath. As for last week's poll, I knew that a fair amount of Ben 10 fans have not seen the Secret Saturdays, but according to the community tab, 61% of people in this poll have not seen the show. But on a positive note, those that did watch the Secret Saturdays were more in favor of the episode, so at least the Saturdays fans got some time in the limelight. For this poll, I want to ask y'all what your favorite upchuck is. The war between the perks and the merc continues, so let me know what you think in the community tab when this video goes live. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And as always, keep it fizzy.